Hello and welcome to this series of videos on psychology with Mr. Snyder here at Carroll High School in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And today we're going to start off with a very simple, just introductory lesson on why study psychology. What is psychology exactly? So your learning targets today are to basically define psychology, which is behavior, cognitive activities, mental processes, etc. We'll talk about the goals of psychology, and we will talk about how psychology is a science. So psychology, definition number one, got to know it, the scientific study of behavior and mental processes. Now, what exactly do psychologists consider behavior? We have to come up with an operational definition of it. Behavior, we consider any outward action that people can observe or measure. So it's an action that somebody is doing that can be observed outwardly because they're doing it or measured. Walking, talking, sleeping, eating, digestion, heartbeat, it's all behavior because it can be measured or observed directly. Mental processes are cognitive activities going on in your brain. This is stuff that we cannot measure. It's stuff that we cannot observe directly, like perceptions, a person's dreams, their thoughts, their memories. We cannot observe those. They're inward actions. They're cognitive activities. What is an emotion? Emotion can affect both your behavior and your mental processes. So it's kind of both. But to study emotions, we put names on emotions, and we call those names psychological constructs. And that helps us study what we cannot see, touch, or measure directly. And for example, the feelings love, frustration, depression, those are all psychological constructs. We give those feelings in order to study them. Let's discuss the 4 goals of psychology. So our first one is describing, or the what. It's unbiasedly looking at what is going on, what is happening, noting everything about it, who it's happening to, where it happens, when it happens, what is happening, and we describe these behaviors and everything about them in order to better understand them. And so our second goal is explaining. We try to explain why this happens. Why is it happening the way it is? And that is a theory. Psychologists come up with theories or an attempt to explain why things happen the way they do. Predicting is the third step, because if we can determine when the behavior will happen in the future, then we may be able to control it somehow or change the behavior from an undesirable behavior or thought to a desirable one. Not all psychologists use all 4 of these goals all the time, but they do make use of them frequently, so it is important to know them, those 4 goals. Now, why is psychology considered a science? Well, it's a science rooted in the natural sciences. It's a social science rooted in the natural sciences. And let's discuss the difference between social and natural. Social sciences, what you study in social studies class in school, include stuff like history, anthropology, economics, political science and government, sociology. These are all studies of human systems. And natural sciences include the science you're probably familiar with, like biology, chemistry, physics are examples of those. Areas of psychology are closely related to the natural sciences. Psychologists use the scientific method and scientific research in order to do their work and their studies. And this is intended to eliminate or reduce bias, which is the observer seeing only what they want to see. And there's a psychological phenomenon that we'll talk about later that helps with that, or that goes along with that. But it's considered both because it uses the scientific method, and that's why it is a science. Lastly, we talk about how they do their research, and then the difference between a theory and a principle. Psychologists use experimentation and surveys in order to collect data and basically figure out what's going on with people and answer scientific questions. Surveys collect data through questions asked, and experimentation uses people or animals because we believe that animal research can be applied to humans when it comes to psychology and biology, stuff like that. Psychologists also organize this research into theories, and we already talked about a theory is an attempt to explain why things are the way they are. And theories then help psychologists form principles, which we consider to be basic truths or laws. Now, theories are a little bit different from principles because theories cannot be proven all the way. When we talk about personality, there's going to be a lot of different theories we talk about, but nobody really can prove how a person's personality works or develops. And so all we have are these theories to go on, where the law of gravity, that would be a principle, for example. And that is all I have for you today. Make sure you fill out your learning targets, and I will see you back in class tomorrow. Bye-bye.